Welcome into Climbing the Ladder. I'm your host, Jesse Simmons, host of Hatters Prime in the Hatters Collective Group. Along with my podcast, Elevate and Motivate, we've been able to combine the two to bring you Climbing the Ladder on Hatters Prime, where we catch up with our former Stetson Hatters who now are embarking on a journey to climb through the system of minor league baseball. Today, I have an awesome friend, awesome person, and an even better player as to the San Francisco Giants thinking themselves, Isaiah Barkett, junior third baseman from Oviedo, Florida, who now is no longer a junior in college. He is now a professional baseball player, was drafted in the 10th round by the San Francisco Giants, the 296th overall pick. I'll leave it to him, but overall, Isaiah, you're a great human, great person. Thanks for joining me today.
Of course, man. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate the introduction and happy to be here. So,
Yeah, man. And it's been a long time coming. It's been something that you've worked your butt off from day one just to get to that point. We'll jump right into it, exactly where you are today. How has everything been just getting right to exactly where you are? It's been a long journey, like I said, but now your dreams have come to reality, for lack of a better word. You're in the thick of it. You're not home anymore. Where are you right now?
we're in Arizona, Scottsdale to be exact. Basically working out every day. We had our draft mini camp, and then now working out, having the Bridge League start up, playing in a few games there, and then hopefully getting sent out to, an affiliate. If not, and they feels best, then staying out in the Bridge League. But just kind of, I'm an employee now, so I just shut up and do what I'm told. But yeah, no, I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
That's one way to put it. Instead of playing baseball your whole life, now you're getting paid to do it. It's your actual job. It's a lot of things that a lot of people can never say they did or have never been able to say they had their name called. So it's pretty cool. Just first question right off the bat, you get drafted. All right, 10th round. Not only did you get drafted, but there's another player who you shared the left side of the infield with for a while. Our boy Zoe Lorenzo Miola, drafted in the 4th round by the same exact team. Number one, did you expect that to happen? Number two, what was your first reaction when, out of the 30 teams that could have called your name, that one that your close, almost best friend and homie gets drafted to? What are your immediate thoughts going through your mind?
Oh, it was awesome. When I heard from my agent that this was going to happen, I called Zoe right away and just said, look for this next pick. And sure enough, obviously it happened, and we're roommates out here. So that's awesome to kind of walk through this journey with him, together. Like you said, we shared the left side, but since we've been out here, actually been at second, so turning double plays with him and stuff has been awesome. So it's awesome, man.
I think you got a little bit of a prelude and a taste to it when, let's take it back to the Auburn Regional, how special of a weekend that was just for you. But for the both of you, you guys ended up being the two players from Stetson who were named to the all tournament team, the all regional team. You know, that was a little bit of a taste to what was to come and what you guys are capable of. But to kind of go back a little bit before we really get into it, the regional for you, you got to be able to play a team that a long time coming as well. You had a lot of things coming to fruition towards the back end of the season. You got to play NC State, a team you played as a freshman year. You got to get your lick back, as we so to say. And, I was able to share a tweet and try to share your story. And, oh, my gosh, the traction that gained a little bit. Tell me a little bit about that, maybe about the tweet that, post game, you saw it start to get a little traction. You start to get your story out a little bit. Just what was that like for you in that game alone to get your lick back? I guess we can say, and do as well as you did with so many hits and lead your team to a win.
Yeah, no doubt. I feel like in a lot of my baseball career, it's been kind of underrated. And obviously now to the point where I'm at, I'm super blessed to be where I'm at. But when it came to that game and stuff, watching from the selection show and watching the ESPN tracker and going, please put us here, please put us here, please put us here. And next thing you know, we're playing them, and knowing Fritten and I were very close friends, the starter. So, talking to Coach Coons and Gerke throughout the week, like, hey, I know how to beat him because we literally game planned against him in the fall and in the preseason of how to beat him, as an introduction of our hitters meetings my freshman year. So then, to go out and execute as a team, I think as an offense, that was the best, thing we did all year. In that specific game was just stick to the game plan and to kick his butt. And then obviously we got into their bullpen, and hitting's contagious, winning's contagious. So, to string along those hits, man, it was awesome. That game was probably the most fun I've ever had playing college baseball, that single game. So.
Yeah, the hitting is contagious, and it was about as contagious as it was going to be for you. If hitting is contagious, boy, you had a disease. You were all over the plate. What a way not to only play well, but play against a team that at one point told you no. A team that at one point told you might not have a chance. One team told you, I don't know what was said, but the conversations we've had, they kind of wrote you off a little bit, and you got to get your lick back and say, hey, I'm here, and this is what you gave up on the table. What did that mean to you? Deep down in it, what did that mean to you and your family after that game and after that tournament? Just saying, yeah, I'm here and I did this, and what a journey it's been to be able to prove myself to people who didn't believe in me.
No doubt, man. I mean, I still have love for those guys and those coaches, but you come out of high school, you commit to a school, you envision yourself staying there for 3 years and getting drafted. That's the thought, that's the goal, that's the mindset. And obviously, that plan deterred a little bit, and super, thankful that I ended up at Stetson for 2 years and had to be in the locker room with those guys. But yeah, when it comes to looking across the field and seeing Chrysler and seeing Hart, seeing Bo Rob and seeing especially Ava and after the production I had that game and going, watch this, fellas. That was awesome. The first double I hit, I screamed in their dugout. Probably shouldn't have done it, but looking back, I don't really care. And told Hart, who has no juice, because he told me throughout the whole fall and spring there that I have no juice. So man, it was awesome. It was awesome to play third and to not hear him talk at all after hearing him talk every single day my freshman year and all the comments he would say. And he had nothing to say because we were kicking their butt. That was probably the sweetest feeling, and not a word was said the whole time. So just knowing that acknowledgement from him, that was awesome, man.
And I tell you what, I think it's a testament to not just the player you are, but the person you are. Me and you have connected a lot because we're both big in our faith, and I think that the way you've stuck to your faith and held strong to the process and not just the games, but the everyday grind of it. You're one of those players that, looking back and watching, you truly do just enjoy the grind, like the practices, the preparation, the 3 hours before the game. You're the guy that's not a 5 o'clock hitter. You're a 7 o'clock hitter. You're ready to hit when the lights come on. Where does that come from? I know your dad, we've said, we've beat a dead horse now with we know your dad has pro experience, was a part of a 2018 World Series championship ball club with the Red Sox. But, I think you're your own man at the end of the day. You take what you can away from your dad because your dad is a great human being, but your own man. What have you learned, not just from your dad, but overall in this process through college, that has set you up so well to have moments like that against NC State in your final years of baseball in college?
Yeah, man. I mean, it all starts from my routine. I'm super routine based. And so, like you had mentioned, I'm there way before, I'm even supposed to be there way before BP starts, way before stretch starts. And doing that routine in the cage, for a home game for me is super important. It's probably the most important thing I do throughout the day, outside of obviously getting my body ready to go and stretching. But, and then, yeah, when we're on the road, like I find a way to hit. I mean, that game, there was an hour and a half or 2 hour rain delay or whatever it was before we even started. And I was trying to figure out a way to go to the cage throughout that rain delay. And then they told me that, hey, we're going to go to the cage after the rain delay. So just to have, my mind is so wrapped up in my routine, I have to get it done. But, that prepares me. It prepares me for the game because I have my game plan in head. And obviously the reason why baseball is so hard is because it's so difficult to execute that game plan. But when you prepare relentlessly and nonstop, it gives yourself the best chance. So that's something that I've always done my whole life, even from high school days to, my freshman year. Even when I didn't play a lot, I still prepared like I was in the lineup, and then just kind of continued that throughout Stetson career and still where I'm at now.
And, we'll talk about numbers real quick. We won't talk about numbers too much, but right here we will. You batted 389 this year. You had 9 strikeouts, all right? 9 strikeouts. You had 86 hits and only 9 strikeouts. You were, I think, third or fourth in the country this year. You had a 4% strikeout rate. That is insane. I don't care who it is, where you're at. That's nuts, Isaiah. Like, that's just crazy. And it is too. And just the way that you had a hit. So now the 389 batting average this year lands you 11th all time in single season records at Stetson as a Hatter. So when you go, you have your name across the board in a lot of categories, but that's one that's pretty cool to look back and say, hey, I'm one of the top Hatters at one point hitting, and especially strikeouts. But you were easily one of the hardest players to strike out in the country, and you led the ASUN. We can talk about hitting philosophy all day. We can talk about approach, but what is a couple things that you carry maybe logistical every day that gave you so much success? What's that approach to the plate? What's the mental mindset going into every at bat every day?
Yeah, I mean, something I worked on this year, just being a little bit better at versus my sophomore year, was hunting early in the count. So trying to jump the fastball first pitch of the at bat, or second pitch if they fall behind 1-0 count, or whatever it is. And then once it gets to deeper in the at bat, like, I just trust my hands and eyes, and just really repeat to myself whenever I'm doing my little bat waggle, is I'm not going down, I'm not going down, I'm not going down, and I just try to stick to that. So get on fastball timing. And then, with all my preparation and planning, I know he has a breaking ball or a changeup, or whatever it is. And so I know exactly, how it's supposed to look, the pitch out of his hand. Then I just trust my eyes from there, in my hands, and just let them do the work with staying on fastball timing. So that's helped me throughout, especially this past year, but throughout my whole career. So, yeah, just really relying on my hands and eyes, and knowing that I'm not going to go down.
You certainly didn't go down very often this year, and it's something that carried you in. And now we will go back to the draft. It's a pretty cool moment, something that I can't even relate to because I've never been there, never had that opportunity. But you have now, and you can say you have. As you sit there and you prepare, the draft is only a couple days long. What was the kind of thing? Like, you get to have a party. It was great to come over and see you and see the fam and hang out with everybody, and just that atmosphere. It was pretty cool, and it doesn't happen often. It only happens once. You might as well enjoy it. What was that like? Because you can't tell me there aren't nerves, because obviously it's the biggest moment of your life up until that point. There's nerves. What are you feeling? What was the aura of the day? What was the feeling, the energy in the house from the beginning all the way to the end of getting your name called? Tell me about it.
Yeah, man, I would honestly write that as the best and the worst day of my life. It was I the draft started at 11:30, I believe. I went to the gym before, woke up, spoke to my agent before the gym, talked, had a pretty good conversation, kind of had a feeling of what the teams were kind of thinking, how it might play out, but you never know. Then went to the gym because I had to get my mind off something. He called me twice while I was at the gym. So I'm answering his phone, then I'm relaying it to my family, my parents, trying to keep them in the loop, and then
Hard to get a lift in, huh?
exactly. Then get back, the draft starts, and then just sitting on the couch, just phone next to me, ringer on, muted multiple group chats because I didn't want to get the notification, look over to my phone, even though that's what I was doing the whole time.
Right.
And then watching obviously Zoe go in the 4th round, that was awesome, great feeling. A couple other guys I'd played in like summer ball or played against that I knew,
Did you
shoot
call
them.
Zoe
Oh, I did right away. I called
right
him.
away? That's good.
I called him, and there was a chance that I was going to go in the 6th round of the Giants. So I was kind of hoping that was kind of pre-draft stuff. So I was like, well, this might happen here, this might not. We don't know. And talk to my agent again. Then when I say it was the worst day, it's meaning it was laying on the couch, looking at the ceiling, going, what is going on? Am I going to get my name called? When is it going to be? For obviously the back of my mind is how much money are we talking now, negotiation type thing. And then like just tapping my phone and tapping my phone and tapping my phone. So as a family, it was really quiet. I think they all were kind of nervous, excited. And then actually, man, in the 8th, at the end of the 8th round, my agent had called me and said, hey, we have a deal with the Blue Jays in the 12th round.
No way.
They're going to pay you so-and-so. They have to take a couple senior signs, but they're going to take you in the 12th round. I got the money up a little bit, whatever it was. And, so they're going to take you here in the 12th round. But, I'm going to tell them yes, if that's cool with you. I said, yeah, 100%. I said, what if a team calls before? And he said, well, then if it's more money, we're taking it. Like, you know what I mean?
You're already thinking about this. Like, I was about to say, are you even thinking about someone picking you up before after the 8th round?
Right. So that crossed my mind. So I told him, and he was like, yeah, dude, we're taking it. He was like, but I at this point, I don't know if it's going to happen because I don't know if someone's, going to call. So anyway, so I'm like, all right, sounds good. So I tell my family, they're a little excited. Then I'm still kind of nervous watching the draft. Never know. Then I remember looking up in the ceiling, saying a quick prayer, closing my eyes. And I promise you, dude, about 15 seconds later, my agent called me and he said, hey, the Giants want to take you in the 10th round. And I said, I just paused. I was just like, what the hell? And I was like, all right, like, what do we got? Like, money wise, whatever. He's like, yeah, we're good with that, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, I mean, let's do it. And he's like, all right, well, I'm going to call the Blue Jays back, kind of negotiate, see what happens with that. And then I texted him 20 seconds after I got off the phone. I said, let's be a Giant. And he was like, all right, let's do it. And then he called me back and he was like, you're going to be picked in the next 4 picks. Because now at this point, the 10th round had started and the Giants had about the 5th or 6th pick in the 10th round.
Yeah.
So it was really quick. All probably happened in about 2 minutes. And then told my family, kind of got emotional there for a second. And then, the teleprompter and then the phone's like a pick or two ahead. So then we saw that, and then we saw the teleprompter, whatever. And then immediately Zoe FaceTimed me, or I had text Zoe and I said, look at your TV, whatever. And then he FaceTimed me as the pick was coming in, and obviously had the moment with my family. So I had to tell him to hold on one second. FaceTime him back, talk to him. And then, like you said, the party was a blast. To be able to celebrate with everyone was awesome. So that was the day from start to finish there.
Props to you for thinking proactively and thinking positively. Because a lot of people, I feel like in my situation, I'm like, all right, they're gonna take me 12. Okay, at least I'm getting picked. At least that's what's happening. Because I think also there's a that plays a part into why you maybe fell a little bit, because this was the year of the shortstop. Gosh, Lorenzo got picked 4th round. We saw a high school kid get picked number 1 overall. It was a very unconventional draft that shifted a lot around. So it was the year of the high school, and it was the year of the high school shortstop. So it was really, really kind of crazy how the draft ended up playing out. But another crazy thing about it play out is another Stetson teammate was drafted like a couple picks after you. And I know you kind of noticed that. Who was that, and what was that like? Did you call him?
Dude, so Ty texted me right away and was like, congrats, man. Hell yeah, something like that. Stay looking at your TV. So I'm actually, celebrating my family for a second, and Girk called me right away. And I talked to Girk, and we were both bawling, crying on the phone, just thanking each other, telling each other how much we love them. And then the TV, the St. Louis Cardinals pick with the 300 pick or whatever, Ty Van Dyke. And I look at it, and I like all the tears stop, and I was like, it's Ty. It's Ty. And Girk's like, what? I'm like, Ty just got drafted by the Cardinals. And he's like looking at it, he's like, holy shit, he got drafted by the Cardinals. So we had like that moment together, but dude, it was awesome. And then I think the best one for me, obviously, for Zoe and for Ty, nothing, trying to shorthand them, but to see Django, man, talking to him throughout the whole draft, he thought, he had a chance 8 to 10 just because that's the senior sign range. And then after that, he was like undrafted free agent, it's kind of where his head was at. And then for the Phillies to take him there in the 14th, when that one got picked, I had tears immediately, and I called him right away and just told him like how proud I am of him, just because we got so tight. We were roommates this year, and just I know how much it obviously means to all of us, but that one for me, I think, was the most special. So.
Yeah, I'm glad you highlighted him. These are all guys here as you're watching Climbing the Ladder with Hattershaw, climbing through the system. These are all guys that you've mentioned here, Isaiah, that are going to be on this show. So I'm excited to ask them now. You've given me this because I can work with that, and it's something that is cool to highlight. But gosh, the things that Django have done this year, what does he mean to you? He's one of those guys, you and Zoe are tight, you and Ty are tight. You're a guy that's been a leader for your team all year, but we both know that Django is one of your closest guys, and he's been through the thick and the thin with you. What does he mean to you when you saw his name come across that screen, and him to get that chance that we both know he deserved, coming back from missing a season with TJ, to come back and do the things he did at Stetson this year to be the A-Sun pitcher of the year? What did that mean to you and the type of person he is?
Dude, it's remarkable. His journey, his story is remarkable. When I got here my sophomore year, he was trying to throw in the fall, and I remember Coach Latham had told me, and I was new, so I didn't know a ton of guys, and I didn't know everyone's real, ability. I'm the new guy, and I remember Latham told me, he said, we need that guy to pitch for us this year, and his elbow was hurt. He didn't have it, and I remember he fought Kelsey, the trainer, to get on the mound. Gets on the mound and is throwing live at bats and in tears. And I'm facing him in the box, and I can see him visibly upset. And that's when, the elbow gave out. But for me in that moment, that guy was doing anything he could to pitch for us that year. That was in October, and he knew he was hurt. So the guts, the heart, you can't even say enough about that guy. And then to turn it around this year, be a fifth-year guy. It's easy as a fifth year to wrap it up and, hey, man, this is it for me, blah, blah, blah. every time he threw, we knew we had a real good chance to win. I think we won almost every time he threw. And early on in the year, we didn't give him any run support. So at the end, when we gave him some run support, it was awesome. Going into, obviously, James has great stuff, but going into that regional, knowing that NC State's got to beat Johnny, like, that's a good feeling. I wish he could have thrown every damn game. So I love that guy. I mean, we were roommates, so super tight, golf buddies, even though he kicked my butt on the course. But, just I love that guy, workhorse. So family.
That's awesome. That is awesome. To see a guy who threw over 200 innings this year to go out there, and especially against NC State, he was a guy on short rest, was just worked. And, at some point, every pitcher's arm is hanging by the end of the year. And you're going out there you're pitching with guts and grit is what we call it at the end of the day. Guts and grit at that point in the season. And he came out there and he didn't just throw, he competed 5 innings and really put you guys in a really good spot. And that was really cool to see. And I know that meant a lot to you to be able to watch it. Moving on into where you are now, kind of explain for those who don't really understand what happens after the draft. Maybe the people that will watch this and say, hey, well, where does he go? What does he do? Is there rookie ball, single A? Maybe they don't know about baseball. Can you explain that a little bit to where you would go after the draft, how that all plays out, and where you are now?
So, yeah, 100%. So we just it was a really quick turnaround. First off, every organization is different. So, I mean, I know I have buddies that signed with other teams 2 weeks after I signed. I think honestly this year we were the first team for all the guys to sign. Don't fact check me on that, but I know we were one of the earliest. And I think
you're up there.
Yeah,
you're up there, one of the earliest for sure.
So it was a quick turnaround after the party, and then
you left. So you got drafted what, Sunday or Monday, and you left Wednesday, right?
Wednesday. So crazy. And then we had a bunch of physicals, all that stuff when we first got out there. Then we just wrapped up our 2-week draft mini camp. And then now from here, now the Bridge League starts. We've had a couple of days off. Now the Bridge League starts. And so we're practicing from Wednesday to Saturday, and then every Sunday is an off day. And then from Monday to Saturday, it's practices and then games. So we'll play teams around Arizona, teams affiliated. So I think we play the Diamondbacks, the Cubs, Dodgers, a couple of Rockies, a couple other teams. So we play against them. And then at that point, at any point, they can call us up. They can call us up to low A. They can call us up to high A. They can call us up, to throughout. And then, so, I mean, it depends on injury. I know they want us all to get some at-bats, because even though we've all looked pretty good in the mini camp, we haven't had an at-bat in 2 months or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, they want us to get our feet wet with that, and then we'll go from there.
So basically, the Bridge League is rookie league, rookie ball in a way, kind of like that preset before you go. Also, too, is Lorenzo your room? Do you have roommates, or let's go with that? Is Miola your roommate? Is he with you there? Was he in the same spot as you? Because he just got drafted. I feel like they all go there. So is that where they've sent all the draft picks for the first 2 weeks?
Yeah, Miola's my roommate. He
can't get away from that guy.
No, can't get away from him, which is a good thing. So we've been hanging out all the time and stuff. So Lorenzo's my roommate, and the rest of the draft class guys are down the hall or wherever they are. So,
what has that been like to jump from like a whirlwind of things? Did you get to go to Oracle Park and go sign, or did you go to there, or did you go to the training site? Where did you go to sign? Get the jersey. What was that like? How'd they treat you?
Yeah, it was awesome. We didn't get to go to San Francisco. Once again, every organization is different. So we actually all signed in Arizona. We signed at the hotel we're staying at, in like the ballroom. They kind of decked it out. It was really cool. And then we've been in Arizona ever since, just doing the mini camp, like I said, at the facility. It's our spring training facility, but it's also open literally every day. It's gorgeous. It's remarkable. Anything you can need, it's unbelievable. So it's a baseball heaven.
Where exactly is their spring training? I haven't been out to the Cactus League yet, but where exactly is it in Arizona?
It's in Scottsdale as well. We're like, our hotel's on one side of Scottsdale, and then the complex is on the other side. It's kind of closer to Tempe.
Okay.
My geography out here isn't great, but I just know it's Scottsdale.
Yeah, I have a little insider scoop too about you. You haven't been to the West Coast much.
No.
From what I know, what has that been like for you? Just not even just this whirlwind of new life and a profession you're getting paid to play now, but you haven't even been to the West Coast. What is that? What is that like for you? The inclement weather, the weather change. Is it as hot? Is it as cold? I haven't been to Arizona yet. Tell me about it.
Totally different, man. Totally different type of heat. It's hot. It's 115, 110, but it's a dry heat. When the wind blows, like in Florida, like it's hot, right? But when the wind blows, it's a nice breeze, right?
Mm.
Out there, when the wind blows, it's hot air, so it's even worse. And then there's no water, so it's not like, oh, let's just go to the beach, or oh, let's go swim in the lake, or oh, let's go to the pool. Like the hotel is a pool, but you get the point. So it's really
Yeah.
dry. The cactus, the rocks, the sand. You hardly see grass. People's backyards, there's turf or whatever because there's not a ton of grass out there. It's totally different, but I love it, man. I love it. So it's great.
That's pretty cool. Have you been able to, let's say, after the draft, has anybody reached out to you, maybe someone of not maybe celebrity status, but someone that was pretty cool you've talked to, or someone you've met maybe during the process of the transition from here to Arizona, or people that you've talked to on the phone that kind of reached out and said congratulations at all?
Yeah, I mean, actually, a couple of former Red Sox players that my dad had coached with, or coached, I guess, for when he was out there, shot me a text. So that was pretty sweet getting a text from Bogarts and Mookie and Mitch Moreland, Brock Holt. So little flex there, but
Yeah.
no, other than that, not really. But no, it's been cool.
Yeah. What's the living dynamic like with you and Zoe? I know you guys are ready to spread your wings and you're just gonna keep it's good to have a dog in the fight. It's a really, really unique scenario that you take someone that you just shared the left side of the infield with for X amount of games, and now it's like, hey, let's go and embark on this journey together and climb this ladder. What are the conversations like? What have you told you? What have you told him? What's the advice for each other, and just kind of going at it like, hey, it's two guys against the world at this point.
Yeah, man, it's that's it 100%. It's we're rooting for each other, we're pulling for each other. Anything each other needs from the field of turning double plays together, communicating that way to at night. Hey man, you hungry? You want a DoorDash? Yeah, I'm getting this. Hop on my order. You know what I mean? Don't even worry about paying me back. You just get the next one. That type of thing. And that's how it's always been with Zoe. I mean, since at school, it's a Sunday or Monday. We have an off day. Hey Zoe, you want to go hit? Yeah, let's do it. Hey Zoe, you want to go golf? Yeah, let's do it. You know what I mean? Like just all that. It's always been that way. I tell them we have a running Venmo transaction balance because we just
Yeah.
Venmo each other back and forth. And at this point, it's just like, dude, don't even Venmo me because I'm going to pay for something or you're going to pay for something. And we're just going to go back and forth. So,
Right.
sharing life together is awesome. And then, yeah, man, we're pulling for each other, rooting for each other. Obviously, he's a freak. He's really good at what he does. So, we pick each other's brains as well, and obviously there's things that he does that I'm not very good at and vice versa. So it's cool to kind of our games to complement each other. And it's awesome to turn double plays with him, man. I mean, being on the left side
Yeah.
is obviously neat. Our communication has always been there, but now to tell him to flip or throw it is also pretty fun. So
Yeah, so I guess I mean that sounds like you're at second base a little bit now too. Where they have you kind of working out right now? That was my next question: is how the adjustment's been. You haven't been able to play other teams necessarily, but you've still started to see some at bats, some ground balls, and kind of size up to these other draft picks. Has it been intimidating to you? Has it been exciting? What's that challenge been like? But it sounds like you're moving around a little bit.
yeah, definitely exciting, man. It's at this point, it's like whatever round you got drafted in, whether people that got drafted before me, after me,
Doesn't matter.
we got a couple undrafted free agents. We're all in the same playing field. We mess around with our first rounder all the time that he's got dinner or whatever because they gave him $5 million. But other than that, man, we're on the same playing field. So getting hit ground balls, hitting in the cages, it's all awesome. Our technology is unbelievable. We have the traject machine, which is the thing that has the pitcher and then the little hole the ball comes out of. So we've been getting like
Wow.
that's there. The pitchers are on their own program, so we don't even really see them because not many of those guys are ramping up because that organization knows they've thrown 100 innings or whatever. But yeah, I mean, everyday grind is similar to a college practice, honestly. And yeah, they've moved me around. Been taking a lot of reps at second. Been over at third a little bit. Couple bunt defense practices went over there, and then actually went over to first for a day. So once again,
All
doing what I
right.
told. So
All right. Former first baseman. I'd love to hear that. Okay, I can rock with that.
yeah.
Also, too, little key to advice. Every time you hop on Lorenzo's Venmo order, he did get drafted in the fourth round. You can add a little bit like an extra side of fries or like an extra smoothie or something on when he's got it that day because you can get him back a little bit. Like, hey, speaking of first rounder, you're fourth, bro. You got me. You got me.
Oh,
No,
for
I'm
sure,
playing,
for
but
sure.
I'm
No, we,
playing.
we we mess with each other a lot. So
It keeps it good, man. It keeps it going. But like I said, I think it's a really cool situation that you don't have to go attack the world and attack this new grind by yourself. You got one of your best friends right there next to you, and that's something that not many people will ever be able to say. And looking back, but as we kind of wrap it up here on climbing the ladder, if you can encapsulate for me, Isaiah, just what the past, let's say, 2 months have been for you, because we sat down on a fastball Friday earlier in the year. You were my first guest on my show, and it was, this year's going to be great. I got a lot to prove, this, that, and the other. You can see your personality, how much you care. What is something that you've been able to carry with you, and maybe a challenge that you've kind of had to overcome mentally and physically these past few months that you've kind of seen come to life?
yeah, man. I mean, this year was a great year. It was tough. Body was beat up, a lot more than probably people realized. Try to
Mm,
keep it behind closed doors a lot. But there's obviously some games that we limped through there. Kelsey would make fun of me because I used the icy hot or tiger bomb, whatever, all over my body. But whatever it took to get through the game, and I think throughout the year, winning is always the priority, was always the priority throughout this past year. So taking that, as that mindset rather than, oh, it's my draft year, I got to play good, I got to get a hit here, I got to drive in this run, I got to put these numbers up. You get into that trap, I mean, you're digging yourself a hole that you're not going to be able to climb out of. So when you put winning in the forefront, obviously everything happens, for the better, for yourself and for your teammates. So that was awesome. The last 2 months, it's been a whirlwind. I mean, from ending that regional and ending on a high note to going and making the decision. Okay, I was supposed to go to the Cape. Should I go to the Cape? Should I not? That was my first mindset. I was calling my agent and our Falmouth coach, Salto Makia, in the airport in Auburn. Hey, I'm not
jeez.
coming. You know what I mean? Like from that moment to, okay, I'm going home. I got to rest for a week, and then I got,
Which you didn't. You hit literally every day.
yeah,
So I saw
right,
that.
right,
You
and
can't
then
really rest. It's hard not to. It's hard not to. I don't blame you.
right, and then had a few pre-draft workouts. Talked to my agent a lot, and spend time with my family, spend time with some friends, and then okay, like let's get this thing rolling. Because I think the easiest thing to do, is to shut down and to just kind of go into decompress mode. But for me, when you do that, it's really, really difficult to get back ramped up. And I felt like I was in a good spot. And that's credit to Coach Keel, to Kelsey, to everyone that keeping me on the field, even though it was a little struggle. But yeah, it was just getting ready to go. And now it's dream come true, man.
I don't know if it's changed at all, but since then to now, now it's a different type of grind. You have a different schedule. What ways have you tried to kind of find a balance? Has your dad given you any advice as a guy who's done it in pro ball for a little bit and had to grind his way through to prove himself too? As you talked to him at all about it, but for you, what's a way that you keep a balance outside of baseball to separate it and get your mind off the game, to just take a 3-second reset and relax when you have those off days?
Yeah, man, for sure. I mean, golf has been a great hobby that I love to do. That's Zoe loves to play golf as well, so normally we go together. We got to get our clubs out here in Arizona actually because didn't bring my clubs out here, so I got to
Golf's good
find
in
a way.
Arizona. I'm telling
Yeah,
you. So I've
yeah.
heard.
But no, man. I mean, I think it's just when it comes to the Giants and playing in pro ball, it's really easy to question. Okay, when are they going to call us up? Are they going to call us up? If we get called up, we going to San Jose, we going to Eugene, we going to this, that, and the other. Do they want me to play second? Do they want me to play third? I mean, all these thoughts can come in your head naturally because you're in a new place. You don't really have any expectation of what the organization wants for you because the information they share with you is minimal. I mean, when you get called up, obviously it hasn't happened to me yet. Hopefully soon. But it's as simple as, hey man, you're going to San Jose and your flight's in 5 hours. Go home, pack up, you're going. Like that's how quickly it happens. So just staying ready, trying to go every day and trying to win the day. And then not trying to question, things that are out of your control. Try to control the controllables, and what happens is meant to happen. So you're supposed to go out there every day and bust your butt. That's really all you can control. You can't control if the hop's going to be a good hop or a bad hop. You just got to go balls to the wall. So that's what I try to do every day, and hopefully going to low A soon. Hopefully play good in these couple games, and hopefully we're out of here in the Bridge League. But if not, I mean the organization's all there. Eyes are on us, 24/7. So it's all their timing, and we don't know the timing. Wish we did. Obviously, we'd love to control it, but just trying to control what we can control.
I tell you what, and baseball is hard enough as it is. The way that baseball goes and the way that the minor league system goes, it's unlike any other sport. You could be at the top of the heap, the king of class. You can do whatever you want to call it, and you can be right back at the bottom of the ladder again right after you get drafted. And it doesn't matter, like you said, doesn't matter if you're a first round pick or a free agent. You guys are all in the same pool and trying to climb out of the same bucket to get to the top, right? You guys are all right there, and you guys get to do it together, and it's a different grind. But I think you kind of said it. That best way there is, control the controllables. That's the best way to carry it through. That's the best thing on my podcast, Elevate and Motivate. You do what you can to turn your negative into a positive, and you just share your story for others. And I hope that you've done that with your faith. You're going to open doors like we've talked about. The Lord's going to open doors that nobody can close, man. And you've already seen that happen, even though we talked about that a month and a half ago. So I'm glad to see that. Last question here for you. I wasn't sure if you were going to hop on today's show on Climbing the Ladder with a Giants shirt, or were you going to hop on with a Stetson shirt? And you can tell how much that program has meant to you, that opened the door to you and said, hey, we want you to lead this program, which you've done for the past couple of seasons that you've been here. What does it mean if you look back on it now, knowing what you know? What does it mean for you to be a Stetson Hatter, and what has it meant for you going forward for you and your family?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think it's all about leaving your legacy, and you got to leave a place better than you found it. And if you did that, then you probably did a lot of good things there. And I feel like I can look back and say that I did that. And this summer, there was a thought going through my head, thought that I was advised to do as well, of, hey man, enter the portal, have a better business decision. Go out there, go get some NIL money, use it as leverage versus the draft. At the end of the day, what we did at Stetson to me meant way more than a backup plan in the portal. And I hope that gives people a good, kind of feeling and a good vibe of how much the school and how much the coaches and the guys, it's the guys meant the world. They're friendships that I'll have forever. I talk to guys like Johan and Django, and obviously Lorenzo, and, even Moran and Griffiths. I mean, every day, Salvi, Danny, it's a check-in, but if we talked tomorrow, if we were in the same spot, we'd pick up right where we left off. So, those guys, they made a difference. And it started last year, man. I mean, Daniel Perrette, Nick Durgan, Eric McAtee. I mean, those guys set the table for what it's supposed to look like. Gio Cueto. I mean, those guys were great, to kind of follow behind their lead. And then this year, when the reins were kind of given to Django, myself, Zoe, it was kind of like, all right, let's go run with it and let's go win a lot of games. So, I mean, Stetson, the school, the team, the atmosphere. I mean, from frickin' Brad, the field guy, everything means a lot. Just thinking about it, almost makes me emotional just because of how many great times we've had there. So forever we'll love, Stetson and the community.
Man, you said it best. That's the way you said it. Sometimes the best things are said is just let you say it yourself out of the heart. And I think the Stetson, what they offer and what you bring is the type of people that they want. When people ask, what is a Stetson Hatter and what does it mean? All I have to do is pull out their phone and show them a picture of Isaiah Barkett, because, me being born and raised in DeLane, growing up and watching it, all I knew was Stetson baseball for a while. And to finally know what a Stetson Hatter looks like and how the way that the game should be played, the way that you should carry yourself on and off the field, and the days that you're hanging and the days that you feel great. That's something that I've always admired of you. We might be the same age, but you're light years ahead of me and other guys that I've seen in that aspect. So I definitely advise you to give that to other players now that you're around that you've never met. Feed into them, because they're going to watch that. They're going to watch it and see it. But for me, it's been great to watch you, brother. And it's been awesome to have those conversations off the field and on the field, to watch you play and sit across from you and interview you on a show on Fastball Friday. And now even to kind of hop walk on you and be able to hear your experience, man. That post-draft, the feelings, the ups and downs, everything is an up and down. But, you've been able to ride the wave the whole time. And so I commend you for that, and we'll be praying for you. And it's been awesome. Tell Zoe I said, hey, in the meantime, and we'll get him on here soon. But, thanks for hopping on Climb the Ladder, and we'll keep in touch so soon.
Love you, bro. Love you always, family. Thank you. Thank you for your time. And this was awesome, dude. Love you.
Yes, sir. All right. We'll catch up with you guys soon on Climbing the Ladder, where we catch up with the Hatters on their climb through the minor league baseball system.